What is your price? Because if your price is not your life, then you are for sale. Welcome back to this episode of My Price is My Life, brought to you by our sponsors at American Independence Gold. Get started on your gold IRA today or purchase gold and silver bars and coinage at O'KeefeMediaGold.com. The price of gold is approaching $4,000. It's crazy. Get your facts. Protect your future. Today, we are joined by Farrah Abraham, best known from MTV's 16 Pregnant and Teen Mom. Beyond television, she is a New York Times best-selling author, entrepreneur who has navigated fame, scrutiny, personal trials, and there are many of them, and launched her own businesses while raising her daughter as a single mother. Farrah has now shifted her focus from entertainment to a form of public advocacy, speaking out on school reform, homeschooling her child, contraception prevention equality, and I'm going to ask her all about that and what that means, and support for sexual assault victims, having experienced some of that herself. Farrah Abraham starred this fall in A&E's new series, Secrets of Celebrity Sex Tapes. Lots to talk about, but today we're going to focus on Farrah's vision for reform, homeschooling, and how she believes America's schools are failing families. Farrah, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome
we got
to
a lot
this.
to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. And I guess I'll get started on this. First of all, this most recent thing. Monday, something happened in your life. What was it?
Yes. I realized that I got expelled from my master's degree program literally after completing the entire program. They suspended me from finishing my last tests, and they claimed that I was unethical, dishonest, and interfering with discipline on a self-paced program because I spoke up and said they refused to give me access and they never showed up to do their work, their jobs. And so because they can't take fault for what they're doing, they're expelling me from school.
What did they do to not take responsibility for their jobs? Like, what do you think it was?
So yeah, in-house proctoring, you have to send access so I can get in the test. Mm-hmm. So they have their own in-house proctoring. You know, they're there the entire time watching me on a test. And I've done many of these. Like I said, I just completed the entire program. And I just had to tell them, after all of these tests that I've done, why did you randomly refuse to send me access, act like I never got approved for this when you had 10 days in advance? So there was just a whole trail of receipts showing dishonesty and what they were doing. So yeah, I have no idea why people do horrible things to me.
Well, people have done a lot of horrible things, it seems, to
Yes.
you. We're going to get through all this. This is
Yeah, I have no idea why.
What is Western Governors University?
So yeah, Western Governors University, based out of Utah, they basically, say for like professionals, be self-paced, get your master's degree on your own time, online. And it turned out to be, just a deceptive marketing practice.
Okay. Well, we'll get to all that. But let's start at the beginning.
Let's do it.
And probe a little bit into your first part of your life. So you've been in the public eye most of your life,
yeah,
right?
Since 16.
16. And millions first met you through this show, Teen Mom.
16 and pregnant.
16 and pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
There's the photos behind us here, if we could put that on the screen.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Seeing
you
Sophia
at 16
and
years
me.
old.
Yeah.
16 years old. And your recent focus has shifted to public advocacy. But let's talk about, so your boyfriend, the father of your child, died in a car accident while you were still pregnant, for
Yes.
people who don't know. Mm-hmm. And tell us what happened with the pregnancy. You initially thought about terminating the pregnancy.
Yeah, well, there's all these things in society, right? Mm-hmm. Like, don't get pregnant, blame, shame, and reject our teenagers. And yeah, so that's why it brought me today, my life legacy of the act that I'm advocating for. But so I ended up going through, back then, Plan B, you had to go get a sign off from a parent. I just went directly to my mom when I found that out. And she refused to sign it. And she's like, I don't believe in killing anything.
This is your mother?
Yes. So you have one hand where you blame, reject, and shame someone who is just living this life and doing everything that they can that society has told you. Like, this is what take birth control religiously, do all of these things. So I was on birth control and I got pregnant. So, and a lot of women do. The end to that. So now today, 2025, October, you don't have to have a name, age, anything, and you can just call and get a Plan B crisis contraceptive pill to you.
How old's your daughter now?
My daughter is about to turn 17.
17 years
Yes.
old. And to your surprise, your father was supportive of the pregnancy?
Yeah, my dad, there was nothing he could say.
Nothing he could say.
Yeah.
You in your book, page 116 of your book's called My Teenage Dream Ended. It's
Yeah.
a New York Times bestseller.
Yes.
And it said, quote, I was shocked by my father's reaction. He was so much more supportive than I ever thought he would be.
Yeah.
I was relieved he still loved me and wasn't angry with me. You thought he was going to be angry with you for getting pregnant?
Yeah. It seemed the weight of that seemed like if people would be disappointed, angry. I recall my parents saying like they would kick someone out in the family if that happened. They always talked very negatively about other women in our community. So yeah, there was a lot of like understanding what life was and what the real world is from getting pregnant. So yeah, I guess I can thank my pregnancy for waking me up and seeing what it is.
Your pregnancy woke you up. The high school coach told you about MTV. Is that right?
Yeah, high
Tell us
school
about
coach
that.
of cheerleading.
They just told you about this MTV opportunity?
Oh, my coach. I was in an acting modeling for Christ kind of like coaching program. And in that interim of starting it to graduating from it, I did get pregnant. I told Miss Karina, who is still in my life till this day, I said, hey, I'm pregnant. I want to make something of this. And I have no like support in my family. Everyone's just like kind of like, just like acting like I disappointed them. And so she's like, no problem. People need to hear your story. She found 3 castings for me. And that ended up being 16 and Pregnant on Teen Mom and changed my life forever.
And this is from page 133 of your book. Quote, I was psyched that I was going to be on TV. It felt like the one good thing that was happening to me and would have been a very difficult fall. I knew I didn't want any negativity in my life, and being on the cheer team had become a very negative experience for me.
Oh, yeah, the cheer team. Yeah, just friends not respecting your privacy, cheer coaches.
Where was this? Where were you?
I was born and raised in Iowa, so Midwest. And my cheer coach took this opportunity to kind of like kick me off the cheer team because I was honest with others. So you can do everything right, quote unquote, to our society. And then when you're honest about it, they will reject you.
So how did this shift happen from this to being involved in political advocacy and school reform and all this?
So I think because my daughter is 16, like right now, where I started this television show, and I saw that no age, no laws were inclusive for 16-year-olds. So like right now, our feature in society, because we do not have the correct laws, it allows people to have teen pregnancy. That's why you see, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds getting pregnant on the news. And if we included everyone, like now I was just saying Plan B, there's total inclusion. There's no like cutoffs anymore because of abortions being banned. So we now have IVF. People are having more access to IVF. In a world that needs inclusion for prevention, that's what my law is about because of my life legacy. That means you get family planning services. So like, batching your sperm, having your eggs harvested. You then can go get vasectomies that 16-year-old men are asking for. You're included on tying your tubes when you want to. So it's really your body, your right, but in the way of we're actually supporting you with prevention before you have a crisis. And I think that is all my life legacy from 16 and pregnant and teen mom to right now, present day. We are beyond ready for that to happen.
What led you to be so passionate about this? We'll get into all this in a bit.
I just lived it.
You lived it because you got pregnant.
Yeah, I lived it. I experienced the whole thing.
And it's a Republican Party, and some conservatives may disagree with you on some of it, right?
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, liberals disagree with me too. I mean, what am I going to do?
Yeah, everyone disagrees. What was the biggest challenge raising a daughter while in the spotlight?
Yeah, the biggest challenge while raising a daughter in the spotlight, I think, is seeing things before others see it. Acknowledging like, hey, there is actually abuse, gaslighting, and changing our children's brains starting in kindergarten. And I think I took child development so serious at a young age when all these older parents are just allowing bullying, harassment, toxicity, crying, your kids are just like all over the place. And I just said, I'm not allowing this. And yeah, so is the world ever ready for people who can see the future and can tell them what's going on? Like, I got politically fired. No one thought I was a political firement. And then everyone started getting politically fired. So, I mean, I try to be the voice of reason and just let people know what it is. But if they're not ready to hear it and receive it, they're just not ready.
And this is Morgan Freeman who fired you?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman
not
from
the
T-Mom.
actor.
Not the actor.
Different Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
From MTV.
Yeah, someone who just wanted to derail young teen women.
Why did he want to do that to you?
Why is there evil? Why is there evil walking around in my home, making millions of dollars off of me, and trying to basically ruin anything and everything? So I owned 3 brick and mortar stores at the time. I was on many different television shows, celebrity shows around the globe. And I was quote unquote fired for adult entertainment work was his excuse. But it was way more than that. And it was because I voted for Trump and Trump ended up winning that year. And I was
politics.
let go. It was very political driven and no one would believe it. But now we're in 2025 and he has, all these lists of men, Charlie Kirk was included, of dying. He has no kings as his profile page. And I have fans sending this to me because I am a very big advocate of stopping hate, stopping prejudice, stop having that around me because I feel it. I'm witnessing it. I'm in lawsuits because of it. And a lot of people just can't see that. They cannot see the hate.
And the MTV, do you think MTV took advantage of you? Like they take advantage of some children, teenagers?
Yeah, I was very much taken advantage of. I think in so many ways taken advantage of. I think we all could have been more successful. I think my other castmates could have been able to see how to better take care of their kids if they didn't have those negative people in their homes. But yeah, it was everyone turn against Farrah. So that's the taking advantage of. Like they normalized people not taking accountability for their mental health, like my mom. And then someone who wanted to stop mental crisis like myself and learn more about me, like they reject that. They don't want that. And you see that actually in many different television series like Housewives. Everyone's talking about this. Like they want the mental health to go down the tubes. For instance, with the school situation, they blocked me from wellness, from therapy. So I couldn't call in and get that after they were creating mental crisis. So again, I think liberals, radical, irrational people like to affect you, transfer trauma, create mental crisis, and then block you from health and wellness and the things that we need to be stronger than the hate.
Did MTV provide your kids or your child with daycare or anything like that, or did they provide?
No, and they also they would try to when I said, hey, I'm having my daughter do homeschooling, they acted like they needed a homeschooling teacher on set and make her do more work. They didn't understand the concept of homeschooling. They didn't want to welcome homeschooling. And they didn't want to respect my right as a mother to have a homeschooling. So I don't know. I just wasn't fitting into this irrational, radical, kind of aspiring talent that they wanted. And I think when you become homeschooled, when you have your own voice, when you start working hard, you're making your own millions of dollars, you're doing everything that you know is right for society and taking part in it and loving people and loving life, they would like to ruin that.
So is that what made you passionate about homeschooling your child, or what was the thing that made you feel you wanted to homeschool?
Yeah, the thing that made me feel like I wanted to homeschool was when in kindergarten people were talking about my sex life to my daughter and their sons. Coming to school talking about my sex life.
People
I thought that,
being the parents or
their children and them saying their parents were saying this to then talk to my daughter
talking about your sex life.
Yeah, my sex life. So I thought that was highly inappropriate, abusive, toxic, and I was just like, okay, I don't think I can tolerate this.
Where does this negative energy come from? Because you talked a little about why is evil evil, like in your own life. Where is that coming from? Is it envy? Is it competition? Is it what is that dark thing?
Yeah, I think darkness, as I've learned in a 12-step trauma center, comes from people's insecurities and not taking accountability for their mental health. And that is the stem of all darkness.
So they project that onto you. They project their own.
It's really hard to see someone else that is accountable, that has receipts, that doesn't lie, that is transparent. that is honest to a fault. And no one, like my grandma used to say, oh, be quiet with your big mouth. It's because they have learned to live in manipulation, distortion, and they think they're fine. There's never accountability for mental health.
So it's a lack of accountability for who they are. And
Yeah, so if I have bipolar disorder and I want to just intimidate someone all the time, and that's what I was raised in. I had everybody around me who had bipolar disorder, highly jealous and envious of me, all the adults, my sister. I had endless attacks at a public high school because I was a public school kid. And I never got a break from that. And I think when I went to a 12-step trauma program, shut off the world for 28 days, I finally knew, saw, and learned all the education that I needed. And that's why I think there is a big disservice in public school systems. And I don't believe in repeating that for my child at all.
Do you think that's the thing that people project onto you is exacerbated because you're famous, because of your public figure? Makes it worse.
Yeah, people even like to dwindle me down and say I'm not a public figure. Like, I actually don't even care if you remember my name, think anything of me.
Well, you obviously are a public figure.
Yeah, but I'm just like, but there's still your own insecurities. You still need to go take accountability for your mental health. So whatever you want to project on me, you still need to do the work internally. It's not just me.
Yeah, I was having a conversation recently with someone, and it seems like it's unresolved insecure issues that they have, because I'm a bit of a public figure too, and it's not easy. People project onto you their own bullshit. Mm-hmm. This is James O'Keefe. You know me for exposing the truth and holding the corrupt elite responsible and accountable. However, today I want to tell you about protecting your own freedom, your finances. Before you buy any gold or silver, hear this. We're going through one of the biggest financial shifts of our lifetime. De-dollarization. Nations like China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia are pulling away from the US dollar. And that threatens your savings and retirement security. Legendary investor Ray Dalio warns skyrocketing debt, relentless money printing, and a weakening dollar are all part of a dangerous cycle that could impact you. That's why more Americans are turning to real assets like physical gold and silver. Gold just surged past $3,700 per ounce, and momentum is building. I've partnered with veteran-owned American Independence Gold to help you take action. Open a qualifying account today and get up to $10,000 in bonus gold and our free gold protection guide. And here's the best part. A portion of every sale supports Tunnel to Towers and Wounded Warriors. Freedom isn't given, it's secured. This is James O'Keefe. As always, this is not financial advice. Always check with your licensed financial advisor before you invest. You go from this show to being a advocate for education reform. And
let's go.
How do you do that? How do you expand?
Oh my God, I love seeing my daughter. How do I expand onto what?
On parental choice in education.
Yeah, so everyone should have their own right to have access to education and however they want access to education. The end.
The end. You attend online Harvard writing classes, but you were abruptly removed from that.
For neurodiversity is what the teacher said when I turned my ADA compliant, like prescribed doctor's letters in to the Student Disabilities Department. How is that not mental disability discrimination?
They discriminated against, say that again, they discriminated against you because
I have mental disability. Like, as if I don't know that I'm I don't know that I'm not neurodivergent. So I think that was just a know-it-all teacher who has like credentials behind her name. But I have to say, no matter if you're a JD, PhD, and have all this by your name, you're still dumber than a box of rocks if you're attacking someone with their mental disabilities.
And your disability was
so I have ADHD and an attentive disorder. But there's a whole spectrum of student, disabilities, and having equal access for testing or even, being in class. There are certain things for different neurodivergence that people really need. And right now in like your grade school, they just have special needs. They don't even have student disability. There's no one licensed. Like, licensed doctors don't exist in special needs offices, student disability offices. So we're just actually transferring educational abuse that other people have normalized And yeah, colleges and schools have turned into a scam, deceptive marketing practices.
What do you think about like Ritalin, giving Ritalin to kids in schools and that kind of thing?
So I actually had my medicine impacted from even recently, people saying I'm doing a test and then I've taken my medicine, they don't show up for the test, and it impacts my whole day. It gets me off. So I have to say, when you have medication around unreliable, dishonest, and like corruptive people, I think that is setting you up for insanity, mental crisis. But I do think from being at the trauma center and seeing young kids who are now there as adults and talking about their parents putting them on medications, it got them hooked on heroin, all of these other things from giving them medication at a young age. And they begged me, like, never give your daughter any medication before 18. And it does shape the brain differently.
For ADHD, for ADD?
For any neurodivergence, for any disabilities. So I basically have my daughter with Amon's Clinic. She learns about different vitamins that her brain and her body needs for her own neurodivergence, which is ADD. And then
she has it too?
She has ADD, I have ADHD. There's like 7 different kinds of that on the scale. So I think, educate yourselves about that.
So no medicine until 18.
Yeah, and we
much.
scanned our brains and we have a whole regimen on like food, what we need, and I think that's the bigger plan.
And now the autism spectrum, they're broadening that. They included Asperger's in it years ago. So it
yeah,
seems
I've heard
like
about that
everyone
update.
is on the spectrum now.
Everyone's on a spectrum. Figure out where you're at.
Okay, so going back to Harvard, this is what? Can you name the professor that was abusive?
No. I think I'm so traumatized from this week's people and names. Like 20 people going against me, and I'm the only one in a hearing. So I think I'm kind of just all like rattled up on that one right now.
So
sorry.
Do we have let's pull up the. I think we have a website or something, guys.
Yeah.
Educational abuse at Harvard. This is a TMZ article from August 2021.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Abraham calls Harvard educational abuse, plans to sue. Now, did you sue?
I did not at that time because I actually got all of my records and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to separate because I did so well in like my screenwriting courses and no other teacher treated me like this. But now with WGU and all of these years of these sneaky discrimination things, my friends are just like, stop allowing this. Like, you're changing this for other students. And my therapist, who I had to tell about this educational abuse, they said, you are changing the narrative for future students who are being suppressed. Like, reviews of these schools are being suppressed. 1-star, authentic, transparent reviews are being suppressed. WGU owed the government over $703 million for mistreating people like they are with me. And then somehow they knew someone and it all went away.
This is a basic quote. Basically, I think this is from you. An elder teacher in a position of power with a male dean blocked me out of a class and also told lies about my work. So nobody took a call. No one took a meeting. Male dean.
Yeah.
What's the significance of that?
Well, I don't know. I keep having males in academia say some really upsetting things to me.
Why do you think that is? No, like beneath the surface. Why do you think that is?
Beneath the surface, I have some men who love me in life, and I have other men who see a woman going for her goals and her dreams and taking not one no for an answer, and they really, really, really have some woman hater abusive tendencies. And that's what comes out when I see this.
Is it they hate women, generally?
I don't know. They have other women who work under them, but they, jerk those women around. And I'm not here to be best friends. I'm not here to be coerced. So if I'm saying something that upsets you and you don't like the truth, well, I'm not going to apologize for anything that I said because no one has apologized to me. So I don't know what you mean, but like men have called me a bitch in my finals. The guys over the whole entire degree
like to
program.
Your face or
yeah,
behind
to
your
my
back?
face. I've had deans say I'm the most worst person they've ever met in their lives. They never met me before. And this was a woman for, female teachers who claimed that I plagiarized or I did this. There was no proof. I had to test out. So I've always had really, really, really hateful men in academia act out in horrible ways.
Is it more true of men than women? in the hatred? Is it equal?
Yeah, I guess you could say, like, in this recent hearing of 2025 of expulsion, you had a woman from the conduct department lying and blatantly showing her hatred towards me. And then she had an egotistical male disagreeing with her who obviously hates women to some degree. So there's no truth or authenticity to them. So I wish them all the best, and I hope they get mental help.
With my board, I was fired from my company, and I could sense traces of some of these men that I dealt with were sick, and it seemed like they had an anti-woman perspective. Some men are just that way.
They are.
They just don't like women.
Yeah, and my dad has told me all about this, and my dad has seen women treat me like this and seen men treat me like this. So he sees, like, people who are kind, loving, and amazing to me, and then we also see the darkness of other people. So yeah, if it's not meant to be.
What percentage of people that you've come across in your life are, dark versus the light?
Yeah, I would say I would say 95% are amazing and happy and going for their goals and helping women, and I would say, like, there's a good 5% who really try to take women out.
You said, I think this is a quote by you, quote, "Harvard is a joke, it's a scam. That's my Harvard review. Harvard is an abusive Ivy League school. Harvard is a scam." I mean, I would think most universities are pretty much a scam these days, right?
Yeah, I feel we need to defund education.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk would probably agree with you on that. I mean, he said as much. So you started homeschooling your daughter during COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we have another picture, guys. Sophia, that's your daughter's name?
Yeah. Sophia was actually homeschooled by second grade, and we tried private school. They were just more focused on...
And that's your daughter?
Yeah. They were more focused on, like, boyfriend, girlfriend stuff. And I just said education is a place to invest in your child. And if you're not investing, and we're worried about fake relationships, honestly... I just can't support this. I can't keep funding this, and I'm not gonna do that to my child. So we started homeschooling in many different ways. But now, as I've learned, you have to take teachers out of it because they start creating rifts between you and your children, and they themselves don't even have kids. They have their other views that don't agree with yours, and they want to put it on your kid. And so now she basically does homeschooling where it's all automated. Mm-hmm. No opinions, no negativity, and she's rocking right through it. So I think if that's how school needs to be in our public school systems, where it's an automated video and those children, I guess, are safe and content at school, and they get to watch that without being impressioned and bullied and influenced, then great. But otherwise, it's like defund education. Well, it's abusing our kids.
We have a video here of Farrah and Sophia showing off their homeschooling setup.
Oh my God, this is so long ago.
Tips and online. We do deep dives here at OMG.
Let's watch this is so early.
Homeschool trenders going on, and I wanted to say Sophia has been online schooled for a couple years now, and I wanted her to share some tips and tricks because I've kind of got it down beyond coronavirus times. So, what are some tips that you can share with your friends?
Always stay on schedule. Do at least 3 to 4 or 5 lessons a day in each subject because you do not want to get behind. If you get behind, you stay behind forever. It's horrible.
Okay, and
all right, awesome. We're gonna talk. So
this is so adorable, seeing like the beginnings of homeschooling.
This is like March of 2020. So this is right when COVID was about to begin or did begin. So what are the main few beyond what your daughter said there? Stay on time, obviously, time management.
I think if anything, like adults, we have to have our own discipline. We're seeing in 2025 right now that public schools took away cell phones because they never taught your kids how to balance a cell phone and do schoolwork. My daughter is doing schoolwork on her phone, organizing live, doing press, going to events, traveling the world, literally. And I think that speaks truth to be disciplined. Understand your schedule, balance yourself, plan for yourself. So, yeah, I mean, I wish the best to all the public school kids.
So how do you deal with your daughter having social activities with, this is a question everyone always asks. I ask it as a product of New Jersey public education, just getting social with other kids being homeschooled.
My daughter has never had an issue with being social. So I don't know what that means. I mean, you pick like if you want to go do rock band, if you want to go do hockey, if you want to go do like martial arts. I mean, it's like when you're really an adult, you go make your schedule. You go find what you're aligned with and you go make your dreams happen. There's nothing crazy with homeschool.
Encouraging people who are seeing abuses in the education system to report it. Did you get people to send you abuses?
Oh,
in
yeah.
schools?
So everybody from Harvard, when my Harvard thing came out, I had all these Harvard graduates saying, thank God you spoke up. They're all too scared to speak up about their systemic educational abuses. So that is why, yes, this time around, I am filing a civil rights lawsuit beyond school discipline
You're filing
misconduct.
a civil rights lawsuit?
Yeah, so I'm
against whom?
WGU, Western Governors University.
You said people are afraid to speak up. Let me talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
You don't seem afraid to speak up.
God didn't teach me to be afraid.
Does that come from God?
That comes from God.
Not
I don't
your
know.
upbringing versus nurture versus nature. What percentage of you think it comes from God?
Yeah, my spiritual connection from God. I mean,
Do you believe in God?
I've always believed in God. I've been baptized.
Christian,
Yeah.
baptized. And so you're not afraid. And one of the themes I talk about in the show, and every guest I have on, is just fear. It seems to me like most people are deeply afraid. You just said it. People see this abuse in the education system. How do we solve the fear problem?
So I just wanted to say this. When I checked into the trauma center, I have to keep going back to this, guys. The one sheet that was put next to my bed was a fear inventory sheet. Your job while you're there is to figure out how to overcome all these fears that are put into society that they ruin your life. And so that is why we did so many different kinds of inventories, and you become fearless. So that's why I believe
Can you talk about more of how that works? You did inventory or?
So yes, your relationship inventory. You go through any relationship that I guess made way on your character and your identity. You actually strip away all things that people put on your identity, and then you connect with your inner child again, your inner power. If you don't believe in God, I will just say this. I saw men of all ages be envious of me there, wish that they could have found that inner power, because if you don't believe in God, there's something that holds you back and you consistently have fear. So I don't know if it's just connecting, doing the inventory, and then saying, hey, these were all delusions. This was all made up by society, and I need to rid this of my identity. And that's what I did, and I've just been fearless ever since.
Fearless ever since that moment.
Yeah.
So what are you afraid of, if anything?
I'm sure I'm afraid of most things, but if the plane's going to go down, which it seems like sometimes I've been in almost near plane accidents, I don't puke, I don't have anxiety, I don't freak out. I'm just hey, God, if this is what it is, you know? I just believe it. I can't explain why I have horrible things happen to me, but God gets me through it. I can't explain why I was a widower at a young age, but God got me through it. I can't explain why I got sexually assaulted, but God got me through it. So I think God has always been my thing.
Are you afraid of death?
No, I think I embrace death. I mean, my daughter's goth. I mean, go death.
You said goth?
Yeah.
Gothic?
Gothic, yes.
Style? Gothic?
Yeah. We were actually talking about death last night. I was wow, I'd really love to do a show in the morgue. Yeah.
Well, it seems to me that a lot of people are afraid of death, and perhaps they are because they can't reconcile, they haven't come to grips with it, they're not comfortable with themselves or something like that. They haven't faced themselves.
So why do we have to be comfortable with ourselves to face death? Most people are wondering about death or something because they don't know what they want. Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to have something above the ground? But some people are I need to go make my mark, right? I need to go have kids with all these people and have a legacy, or I need to go build buildings and be known. And I have to say, I think I just put everything away and I just put it in God.
We're standing up to the powers that tried to discredit us, silence us, smear us, raid us, and throw us in jail. They've awakened a sleeping giant. We're building a movement of transparency and accountability in both the public and private sectors, because we run from nothing, we hide from nothing. And when you join and get your full access pass, you fuel a movement for truth. We are the media now.
month ago, a friend of mine, Charlie Kirk, passed away.
Yes.
How did that affect you?
I'm sorry about that, and that impacted me in, I guess I believe in speaking my mind, and I think it really was alarming, and it hurt in a way of like, wow. I mean, I looked at your friend, at this person in our society, as like, wow, I would love to be a part of a group that can speak, that can share, that can keep this going, dialogue. And so it impacted me in a way of people want us to fear saying the truth. And we are just in a very unsafe society. But I refuse to carry a gun, so.
No gun, a mace, or you probably shouldn't say what you do because that would defeat the purpose of it.
Yeah.
But so going to a weird question. You're suing a civil rights lawsuit. Do you get pro bono lawyers to help you with this, or do you have to pay the going rate of hundreds of dollars an hour?
So all of my attorneys, I do not pay. So.
Like pro bono, or it's a contingency arrangement?
Contingency. So I love paying on contingency. I like people who actually work for things, not just say they're doing something and then don't. So yeah.
That's one of the challenges we have here at I get sued a lot.
Yeah.
So you got to find lawyers who care, I think,
Yeah.
to actually care about what your case is.
I hope I can get my own like JD in law. So hopefully that'll happen.
It's a lot. That's 3 years in school and a lot of money. That's a lot of time.
Yeah. But I got a lot of time, I guess.
So let's pivot to, I'm very fascinated by the fear thing, but the contraception prevention equality.
Let's go.
Let's go to the
Do you have a
contraception.
vasectomy or what?
I do not have a vasectomy, but
You're just risking it? You're just chancing it out there?
I'm just chancing it. So let's talk about
The sexual power dynamics?
Let's talk about contraception. And by the way, I don't really take a stance on this. I'm just going to give you both sides of it and
Are you uncomfortable?
see how it goes.
Okay.
So some context. Tell me if I have this incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
You've used your platform to draw attention to what you call, quote, contraception prevention equality, advocating for accessible education and fair policy on contraception options.
Yes.
And then this issue also gained visibility following commentary involving Charlie Kirk.
For sure.
So tell me about what contraception prevention equality means.
So everybody thinks contraception is only for crisis. We need something that is preventative support before the crisis. Equality. It's not only for women. It's for men and it's for women. I think a lot of women, or like females, they're mostly the vocal ones of this topic. Other men are like, oh, it's a woman's body. She should be able to do whatever she wants. I think men, like many women, are like, they need to be equal to the party. They need to be able to go get vasectomies. They need to be able to have support. And I just think this all plays a part in having better family planning, less abuse to children, less abuse to women, and we have healthier and happier societies in total. Solving world problems with one law.
And this, you became passionate about this because because of your pregnancy.
I lived it.
You
Yes.
lived it. So, okay, goal, provide equal access to non-hormonal and surgical. What does that mean,
Yeah, so
non-hormonal and surgical?
vasectomies, non-hormonal and surgical. A lot of women are very much speaking up, and there's a lot of lawsuits for all of these hormonal birth controls killing women. I had to have emergency removals myself, having like cysts, all these things from, doing what's right, using these birth controls that have failed women. So I think that's why it's so important to not have that in your body and to have better relationships.
So no pill birth control. You don't
No
believe in
pill,
that.
and some of the other ones that go in your like arm and stuff, they can impact you and kill you.
Is it true that you've suggested that certain types of birth control should be given to girls as young as 10 years old?
They should be allowed to go have prevention. If they're allowed to go get raped and pregnant, then yes, you're allowed to go get support and prevention. Yes, you are.
What type of birth control would that be?
So if you can harvest your eggs and plan your family, if you can go have your tubes tied and make sure that that doctor knows how to do reversal, these are your rights that you should have so you're not faced with a crisis. Real prevention is real support. If you procreate, you need protection.
Certain people, I'm sure, are critical of that stance. I mean,
I don't know. People started loving it. They were contradicted by that. They were like, Farrah, do you support abortion? But I don't not. And the reason why is if you put women, like, look, I've had to give my friends money. I've had to help strangers, okay? They were so traumatized from an abortion. There's this whole thing that can just break down. And I just have to say, I'm not judging anyone for anything, but if you have the right tools, it's a feature in society to go get unplanned and pregnant at any age right now. Go wild.
Your friends were traumatized by having the abortion.
Yes.
That you're offering this as a preventative solution to that.
And I think if you see trauma victims and people who've gone through this, and or yourself, like, hey, where did I not have support? If I had this before I was 16 and pregnant and on a television show and then a global star because of this, like this, what is this? It's like an entertainment plug. It's like I got 16 and pregnant and turned this into a whole entertainment powerhouse. But I have to say, I wasn't just a statistic, because I really wanted to show that it's not just about, oh, look at me, I got pregnant, don't do this. No, there is something beyond that. We don't have real support. We allow crisis. And I'm tired of seeing broken relationships. I'm tired of seeing hurt children. I'm really tired of just seeing abuse all around the world. And this would be
This
that.
is your solution.
This is
Let's
my
take a
solution.
look at a video clip. Teen pregnancy in society. Team, pull it up if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Having the luxury of my daughter turning 16 and having her in my life, I truthfully know that everyone was wrong. My parents were wrong. Older generations were wrong. TV hosts were all, it's like, oh, but you got your timing wrong and think I can't do comedy. But I got my timing right. And I feel like what we society systemically have wrong, and I do post about it. I'm not trying to impression anyone, but we have vulnerable age groups who are left out of contraception prevention. When you're procreating, it's an act of God. It's not like an age and a law. I just want people to understand that. And when you don't have prevention, which we haven't, and inclusion and equity in that for teenagers, 10-year-olds are getting pregnant. I'm just saying it doesn't matter if you're a teen or middle schoolers. There needs to be inclusion and equity there for women and men. You know, they can get vasectomies or they can have their tubes tied and they can have fertility options. And I think that's another component of why medical and fertility and government is blocking this inclusion and equity for teens or people who can just procreate at any age.
All right, cool. Because you're here, so I can just talk to you about it.
Yeah, I'm like,
so,
okay.
So like a teenage, would that be like condoms for boys or?
Have condoms been working?
You
Not
tell
much.
me.
Birth control and condoms aren't working, guys.
Condoms aren't working.
This is why laws are changing. Ages, everything is changing right now, and it's not going to stop changing. So even if I'm talking about it and you disagree with it and you think it's not real, well, call me in 5 years. It's going to be real.
Do you think towns, municipal governments, the state, the government, federal government should pay for any of this?
I mean, IVF is now being paid for. If you want to support families and growth and I guess positivity in your life, like what do they say? Like what is it when we're growing up and they're like, I just want a bright future, so I'm gonna abort something. But I don't have to create that and create an excuse, normalize an excuse for not taking accountability. I'm saying a true bright future, all it needs is actual support before a crisis. So this is that support and a real bright future that we all deserve.
This is a very probably divisive issue. Maybe it shouldn't be, but I'm just stating the facts that it is. In your view, how do you get people to agree on this issue?
I don't think people need to agree with me. I don't think you need to like me. I think we just need to look at a problem and solve it for humans, and this is what solves it for all humans, no matter what you believe in.
There's certainly a lot of hypocrisy on this issue. I mean,
what kind of hypocrisy?
From, I think, Republicans who may be pro-life but then have an abortion, and people who may be opposed to what you're saying, but then they do the exact opposite. So I recognize that. There's a lot of human hypocrisy.
Yeah, you know what? I think just take this into your own account in your own life and be like, oh my God, does this work for me? And yeah, it does. And it takes fear out of your sex life so you don't have to have anxiety, you don't have to hate someone, you don't have to put blame on your kids when you have someone else's kids. You can actually never have any of those things happen anymore. ever again in your life. If I had that, wow, would my life have been different? So I think just apply it to your own life, see it works, and take fear out of your own sex lives.
What is it called? The people who say don't have sex before marriage, do you think that's wise advice?
I don't know. The liberal women were saying we're going on, where they're just like, we're not having sex anymore with men at some time. And I was just like, okay, well, they're going to just get on the internet and go into pornography. It doesn't matter if you have sex with them or not. And that's the thing. You withhold sex isn't actually even doing anything. So I think withholding sex, or even saying like, don't have it, stop saying that. Just only give education, what's going on in our laws, what support we do and do not have, what we need. And you know what? My daughter never even thinks of that. My daughter has not even had sex. And so that's the thing. My family was like, don't have sex, don't talk about sex. And I think like...
That doesn't work.
Just say the education, say where we don't have support, and use common sense. And I think like there's a difference. You can have abstinence or not, you still need support.
What's your views on pornography generally?
Pornography happens because of the world we live in. Fear, anxiety, power trips, and sex. And wow, what if this law took all that away and people had less need for fantasy, right? Real life and real intimacy. There's a lot of fear, a lot of hardship, a lot of weight. And if you can take that away, again, you're having less abuse, you're having happier kids.
Wait, hold the thought.
That's under your leg.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
All right, are we done?
That's my...
Yes.
No, that's not. That's my Find My Phone alert.
Yeah.
Apologies. Pornography.
Yeah, so I just think there's so much weight in real life, real intimate relationships. This is why pornography happens. A lot of women blame other women for pornography, but I'm going to just be honest. Like when they said all of these leaked pornography things on the internet, and I was like, yeah, well, if the internet didn't want it there, it would remove it. And then we started having new laws removing pornography from things. So yeah, there's a need, and take away that need with like the law that I'm providing or saying that we need. Again, happy relationships, you have choices, you don't have people power playing you through your sex life, you take away all fear, all weight, you're a happier person. And that's also why we have like a whole like AI fantasy world, like on my own brand. And that has just been skyrocketing.
And tell me more about that.
Yeah, so if everyone doesn't know, when I got wrongfully fired from Teen Mom, I was just like, I'm never working with a network again. I'm never dedicating my life or my kids. I need some freedom. So I got on OnlyFans because I ended up having that celebrity sex tape problem happen and won awards, became a millionaire, unbeknownst to me, a sex icon in my own way. And so OnlyFans was that like continuation of that. And then it got to a point where all these laws, all these things, a lot of hardship, deleting of my stuff. And I was just like, I'm tired of all this. I don't want any more problems. So we created an AI, different AI platform. So like there's Joy AI that's all over in the press right now. There's Telegram AIs. And I got to say something. Men and women are on there, but they are finding it so much more fun. And it's like, you know, it talks right back to you right away. You're not waiting on anyone.
The OnlyFans AI, you mean?
No OnlyFans. There's no AI on OnlyFans, by the way. OnlyFans is turning into a dinosaur. Joy AI is our future.
Joy AI, for those who don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know what that is.
And then there's a
Telegram. I should know what this is.
Yeah, there's a Telegram AI from another company.
But what is Joy AI? What is that?
Joy AI, so there's a bunch of different public figures and sex icons on there. And you can basically have your own AI girlfriend. So AI girlfriends are taking over.
Think that's a good thing or a bad thing, or you're indifferent towards it?
You know, there's a lot of married men on there, and they still go home happier than ever to their wives.
And is this based upon like a brand, like they take you and they make an AI version of you?
Yeah, there's a plethora of these brands for Telegram AIs, AI girlfriends, and Joy AI is one of the bigger ones right now.
Okay, and you said you were on OnlyFans. Are you still, or at what point did you?
I mean, I think all of my branding is all on many 18 and up websites. I'm an adult, and so that's where it's at.
What do you make of the phenomenon in America where so many women are on those sites? An increase of people.
I don't think it's just an increase of women being on these. There's an increase of men being on them, like having their own accounts. Married men, gay men. I think like to just keep talking about women on 18 and up websites is just like, I'm just kind of over it.
An increase of men too.
Yeah, there's just many increases of men. And I mean, is there anything wrong with having like a different expression of yourself where you can say if you're not positive, you're out of here? And I think like that's what my OnlyFans has been to me, and I've talked about this many times, especially when I was sexually assaulted. OnlyFans and that positive interaction with men started regulating my body again. So I can only think, you know, by me dabbling around in different business ventures online, and especially since I was trying to master in digital marketing, I look at all of this as a digital marketing, and I've really enjoyed my time there.
Regulating your trauma? How does that
what's it called?
work?
Like when you have so much trauma response, there's like some kind of thing that overrides, takes over your brain. You kind of get stiff. I had chronic body pain. I still have to do ketamine treatments for that currently. So cortisol. You have so much cortisol
Stress
that
hormone.
runs. Yeah. So, and you can't get it to stop until you have like severe like trauma reprogramming. But anyways, I was always thankful for men who can talk about sexual assaults, men who can talk about all different kinds of things of what's going on with other men and why they would do that to someone. So yeah, for the good men out there, that's awesome. And I'm very happy that I've had those relationships online.
This is James O'Keefe. You know me for exposing the truth and holding the corrupt elite responsible and accountable. However, today I want to tell you about protecting your own freedom, your finances. Before you buy any gold or silver, hear this. We're going through one of the biggest financial shifts of our lifetime. De-dollarization. Nations like China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia are pulling away from the US dollar. And that threatens your savings and retirement security. Legendary investor Ray Dalio warns skyrocketing debt, relentless money printing, and a weakening dollar are all part of a dangerous cycle that could impact you. That's why more Americans are turning to real assets like physical gold and silver. Gold just surged past $3,700 per ounce, and momentum is building. I've partnered with veteran-owned American Independence Gold to help you take action. Open a qualifying account today and get up to $10,000 in bonus gold and our free gold protection guide. And here's the best part. A portion of every sale supports Tunnel to Towers and wounded warriors. Freedom isn't given, it's secured. This is James O'Keefe. As always, this is not financial advice. Always check with your licensed financial advisor before you invest.
So, since 2021, you've spoken out for victims of sexual assault because you are an assault survivor.
Yeah.
And there's an allegation against Dominic Fopoli?
I'm not even going to mention
no
the person's
names.
name. He just wants all the attention.
And you filed a police report against this individual in Florida. And
In Palm Beach, right here.
in
it
Palm
happened.
Beach. Yeah.
It happened right here in Palm Beach.
What would can you talk about that? And we have a website excerpt here, and I'll just read a quote from you. Quote, "I wish I never had women around me, friends," team, if you can pull this up on the quote, "who felt sorry for a rapist over their friend, such as Ghislaine Maxwell, the friend of Jeff Epstein. I believe this was from People magazine. Each moment I wasted being influenced not to report my rape by whatever excuses my so-called friends tried to stall made it even more apparent to do the right thing and report what happened to me." So you had people in your life, friends of yours, or quote-unquote friends. I always feel like the word friend is an overused term.
I just say I have acquaintances.
Acquaintances. Because friends, maybe there's a few, right, in your life?
I try to have none.
You
I try to have no
how
friends.
about one or two really close friends? Do you have
No. Everybody knows I'm not even close with my family. And that's...
Do you have one, if you can say, do you have one or two in your life?
I have my daughter.
Daughter?
That's someone who is always honest, is transparent, and really wants the best for me.
So these are people in your life who did not have your best interests at heart.
No.
They were telling you not to report this?
Yeah, it was like a conspired rape. It was like a Ghislaine Maxwell situation.
Why were they telling you not to report it?
Because they're okay with rape culture. We live in a world where a lot of, for one, you have women saying, "My body, my right, I got raped, let me go do an abortion." You also have women on the flip side right now, and specifically in my case, chose to marry a known rapist of over 20 years. So where's the scale, ladies? It's okay to get an abortion because of a rapist. It's okay to go marry a rapist and have his babies. I'm sorry. So like that's the world. It upsets me actually. So I probably shouldn't like too much talk about this. Sorry.
When did you realize that?
Sorry, James. I'm like, ah.
No, we like to talk about uncomfortable things here. I hope you're okay with that. When did
Yeah.
you realize that you didn't? And by the way, I agree with you. I mean, I do have a couple close friends. Maybe my dad's my friend. I have a friend, I won't say his name on the air, but when did you realize that, okay, people are fake. I don't really have any real close friends?
I think I've known that from a very actual young age. I remember in like grade school vividly. So I don't know. I don't really think, I've always tried, right? Because of like peer pressures. Oh, try to have friends. Like my parents would say, oh, you just X everybody out of your life, Farrah, and they would guilt me. And I just think I'm, again, trauma center. Stop having manufactured emotions. Everybody else's emotions on you. Take it off your identity. Go live your life. Go be fearless. And I think that's why I try to do the right thing every day and be honest.
But even in Palm Beach area, and I moved to this area, there's a lot of phoniness, there's a lot of projection. You go to these cocktail parties and you just have to be nice and civil, but people are extremely fake. And people say how many friends they have. And here on this People magazine article, you had women around you, these quote unquote friends, but you knew at the time that they weren't really your friends.
Yeah, that really was hurtful. And I think like not only dealing with the trauma, but I think like realizing like how deep this mother, she was a fellow mother friend of mine, and how deep and dark that person ended up being. I literally was just like, I'm no longer having mom friends. I am no longer being a wing woman. I'll just say right now, the one thing that I got from this is a wing woman.
A wing woman, okay.
You never be a wing woman. And that's what she's like, oh, I just need a wing woman to come. It's just a wine tasting. We'll be out for like 2 hours. She made me move from my hotel to her family's house. My daughter was waiting there for me. I was trying to go get her dinner. Like there's a whole thing that happened because of this. And I think when you, I'm going to get emotional. When you work so hard to be the best parent or whatever you want to be, when someone gets in the way of that, it is to let yourself down just kills you.
They tried to get in the way of you and your daughter.
Yeah. So, and then you got to pick up and just go try to fix it and do the right thing. And I think the best thing I could have done was this. But unbeknownst to me and my God relationship, there was a public open investigation that happened, oddly enough, while my friends were trying to talk me out of turning this person in. And so I'm always grateful and thankful for God's timing.
You were discerning. You were able to see through this. So be grateful for that.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, lots of gratitude.
A lot of gratitude. Yeah. Have you heard the story about how there are friends who are leaves and branches and roots? I don't know if you've ever heard this. Sounds like the roots are the ones. I mean, I hope you do find a close friend beyond your daughter.
Yeah.
It's difficult being a public figure, though.
Yeah.
Because it's a little lonely. It's hard to. Everyone wants something from you. Do you find that to be true? Most people want something from you.
Yeah.
It's hard to find someone that you can trust.
Yes. And there will be a time and a place. I mean, I hope I find a husband. I hope I find an amazing stand-up man one day.
Do you want to be married?
I mean, I think all women, no matter how amazingly independent we are, we all yearn to have a stand-up man who can guide us in our life. And like, that's amazing. That's beautiful. And I love when I see marriage. So yes.
Well, we have a few questions from some callers, and I'm going to read them because they want to remain anonymous. These are subscribers to OMG, and if you're watching this and you subscribe, you get to either call in and ask the guest a question. So anything's on the table. So here we go.
Oh boy.
Write-in questions. Quote, this is anonymous. People don't want to be known. Speaking of fear, now maybe they should be known. I don't know, but they want to be anonymous.
There's not even a code name. There's not even like
it just
a fun
says anonymous.
name.
There should be a code name.
Like not even Cupcake.
Cupcake. Maybe we should have code names, producer, for next time. Okay, this is anonymous. Quote, I am a single mom raising my 2 sons, ages 19 and 12.
Wow.
I would love to homeschool my youngest, who is in first year of middle school, because I too believe our school system is broken and is being used to indoctrinate the children of America. My concern is how to give my child the social experiences with his peers, the social experiences, I brought this up with you, that I feel is so important. Is there any way for me to homeschool and also socialize him?
Totally. I love Acellus for online homeschooling, K through 12th grade. And again, what does your son like to do? Go look up the teams. Go look up the activities. Get out there, Mom. It's easy.
What is it called? Acellus?
Acellus online. Yeah.
Acellus online helps
Acellus
people.
Academy.
It helps people find activities.
Well, they do have, so any homeschool, by the way, any homeschool, they have like a community area. They even do like graduations for kids, but they will show, or you can ask and call them and say, hey, my child wants to do this. Are there any incentives? Are there any classes? But also, I took it upon myself and I just go look. I go call. I take my child. But it's not hard to, take part in your community.
Okay. Where's the website? Acellus Gold.
Yeah, easy peasy.
They should sponsor us here at OMG.
Yeah, they might. They actually might.
All right, next question from also Anonymous. Everyone's anonymous today. Do we have any call-ins?
How does that work here? Because they don't ever know the time.
Yeah, we let our subscribers know ahead of time that you're going to be here because we have a few thousand subscribers. All right, next question. Linda McMahon and the Department of Education are clearly not pulling any funding from the states that are refusing to adhere to President Trump's federal education mandates regarding inappropriate curriculums for children. How can this be changed?
Okay, what was the inappropriate part? Sorry if I wasn't paying attention to public stuff. Public school.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, but apparently there are some federal education mandates. Team, if you want to pull some of that up, federal education mandates regarding inappropriate curriculums for children. Basically, that there are curriculums in schools with children that parents object to, and people want to get that changed at the federal level. They want to influence the federal government.
I mean, we should. I feel like public schools are funded by the public. That's why our taxes go up. That's how you create communities if you're a developer. I feel that schools and teachers are so entitled to take our money and then weaponize it against us and then not give us what we need. So by all means, update this. But I would defund education at this point.
At the federal level.
Yeah, I defund all education, K through PhD.
And there it is on the screen. Trump administration puts 46 states and territories on notice. Gender ideology content, I guess that's
this is just for sex ed.
This is gender ideology.
Half the time people are just not even paying attention to sex ed, and sex ed doesn't really serve a purpose, I would say. I would defund this. Have a video and play it, and no one needs to hear about everybody else's opinion on if they want to be a boy or a girl or whatever.
I think when I was in grade school, I think I was in third grade, and they were talking about AIDS and anal sex, and I was a little bit too young for that. I felt a little traumatized being in third grade. I don't know what the appropriate age is. What do you think the appropriate age? And you think parents should do it, not the schools, correct?
You want parents to talk about stuff they feel uncomfortable with?
I'm not sure. I'm asking you what your position is.
I think there is age appropriateness, but I also know if there's a child who is a victim of abuse, and so I had friends growing up who were victims of abuse, and they knew more about these things before it was even brought up at school. So I think you have to take in account every dynamic of a child, but sometimes it's very much not age appropriate. For my child to talk about, sex when someone's coming home from kindergarten and doing that, it was very inappropriate. It was very upsetting to her. So I had to, talk about things in a way of, hey, if it's inappropriate, you just get up and you walk away. But then, people get curious, and then you have sexually inappropriate things all over TikTok, and we're normalizing that. So then you start having to talk about all of these things. I just can't say I'm uncomfortable, I can't talk about it, because the world is going to talk about it.
Especially now, especially these days.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is the last anonymous question. How much opposition, intimidation, sabotage, or legal harassments do parents face when they try to remove their children from exposure to trans ideology or try to learn about the trans-related interactions that occur between their children and the school staff. So the opposition, what's your position on the trans exposure?
Well, I'm just
your
so
opinion on
fortunate.
that?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate that that's not even a topic that comes up in our lives. Again, homeschooling, we focus on schooling. We focus on the academic curriculum and not the politics. And I don't think that should be in an educational setting, clearly, because we don't even talk about it or think about it. But then in real life, when you get to, I have transgenders on my staff. I think, hey, like, if you're cool with showing that much of your mental struggle, great. If you need help, I'm here. And I just don't, I don't feel like it's my place to say, hey, go get mental help. I don't think it's my place to say, because this whole world operates on mental dysfunction. So I think when other people realize how it comes to be and they have low self-esteem and low self-worth, there's more compassion. But do I think that needs to be in an educational setting? By no means.
A lot of parents are frustrated by it. They want to reform. They
You
wanna
have
get rid of
to.
it.
Again, you got to just focus on education. That's my thing. If you take me off of my education journey or my child, I will remove it.
This is a question I have, especially since Charlie Kirk passed. It just
Yes.
seems like my take is that are we headed towards dark times in this country? Are things going to get worse? Like, what's your perspective on the future?
I'm always just very progressive. Like, I don't think in expulsion and dark times. I think in what can we be proactive and do. It seems to me education reform, defund education. If we're not getting, again, the entitlement of school systems, if that is not fixed, boycott all schools for a month and see what happens.
Like, what can...
Do something radical and loud, because no one is hearing the systemic educational abuse needs to stop. And honestly, there should be a way in a form of, if you're teaching education, but you are so mentally unstable and irrational, you should not be allowed to teach, be over, or have any power over anyone in an educational setting. So that's the kind of reform that we need to take shape of, whether that's like a test, whether that's like some form of assessment from a licensed doctor, but that needs to be taken seriously. And to have these creeps around our children, that is most concerning to me. So when I hear moms and dads complaining, I'm like, you're part of the problem. You're sitting here complaining, you're sending your kid through that. And if you want to stop it, you need to boycott it. You need to defund it. You need to change this. So I can't wait for everyone to finally
Speak up.
get up there.
So, like, an individual out there, what's your advice to them? Like, people always say, James, what can I do? Like, I want to do something. What does the individual do?
So
What action do they take?
Yeah. Again, if I'm a public school parent, I see what's going on. I remove my child. I go find an online school. What other level is there? Like,
That's it.
Okay,
That's
so
pretty
yeah,
much it.
and the only other thing that I have on my social media, if you go to like my Instagram link in bio, I say these are like some steps that you can do to turn in the schools at a government agency level. So Office of Civil Rights, Teachers Education Association, financial aid, and there's all sorts of other different civil rights organizations and free help for kids in
That's your
kindergarten.
website right there.
Yeah.
Turn in school discipline misconduct.
Yeah. So these are all the ways outside of school what you can actually do. These reports matter, and they will be fined.
And the thing that's preventing people from doing it is just fear, just lack of courage. What is preventing people from pulling their kids out of school, do you think?
You want to hear the excuses I hear?
Yes.
The excuses that I hear from parents. I do not have the patience to teach my kid at home. You don't teach them, it's automated. He's not going to get up and do his work. I hear so many excuses, so much blaming. If you take your excuses and you stop blaming things, you go live by like 12-step principles for education, everything is possible, everything is figure-outable. And if you don't want to be happy and if you don't want your kids to be balanced, then cool. Keep making up excuses and blaming other people.
Stop the excuses. Stop blaming other people. Farrah, is there anything else you want to talk about today?
I
Did
had
we
so much
cover
fun. This has
everything?
been wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'll borrow the Michael Malice line. What was your favorite part of today's discussion?
I think the last question, like what is preventing parents from removing their kids out of this environment? So thank you for that question.
Thank you, Farrah, for joining us on The Price is My Life. Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you.
Every story we tell here at O'Keefe Media Group, breaking the news, going places others won't, taking risks others won't, is powered by your support and by our partners at American Independence Gold. All right, so we're here with Ryan Durda, Senior Vice President, American Independence Gold. Lots of people are talking about gold. Ryan, tell us the difference between investing in precious metals and regular stocks or mutual funds.
I mean, the easiest answer I can give you to that is with gold, silver, precious metals in general, there's no counterparty risk. So when I say counterparty risk, with a stock, for example, if we look at, let's say, Apple, the entire board is one of your counterparties. The CEO, Tim Cook, is one of your counterparties. The staff that is responsible for developing products, marketing, those are counterparties. So you have risk in the success or failure of that individual counterparty. With gold and silver, there's no counterparty. There's no CEO of gold. There's no CEO of silver. It's a tangible asset that you own. In the case of a bond, right, we'll use the U.S. Treasury, right? The counterparty is the United States government. And right now, there's a little bit of lack of faith that exists in the United States government and or its ability to make good on its debt.
What types of investment portfolios would benefit from exposure to gold?
I mean, any and all. I think one of the most misleading things that people are told is that they have a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, bond funds. And the reality of that situation is they own one single asset class, which is they own securities. So albeit they might be diversified within a single asset class, they're not truly diversified. True diversification would be that you have a portfolio that exists of multiple asset classes that are non-correlated. So somebody with a portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and bond funds would need to have gold and silver outside of that portfolio in order to call it a true portfolio hedge.
As of the time of this recording, what is the price of gold?
3,800 and change. To give you the exact number, I would have to,
Is that an all-time high?
It's absolutely. We've had 38 new all-time highs this year alone. Last year, I believe we hit the 74 all-time high mark.
And what is that like compared to, say, 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
To give a little history, gold, if we look at just from the beginning of this century, right? So that's the year 2000, the beginning of the century, it's 25 years ago. Gold itself has actually outperformed the entire S&P 500 threefold. Had you purchased gold in the year 2000, you're up 1,500% today. If you invested in the S&P 500 index and you reinvested all the dividends, you're up about 500% and change, right? So gold just hands down been an outperformer relative to the stock market indexes.
Is there a risk getting exposure to gold now after that huge increase?
All investments carry a certain level of risk, so I'll give you the disclosure there. Gold is what's called a tier 1 asset, which is a central bank definition, simply meaning that it is safe and it's liquid. Gold, by definition of the central banks, is a tier 1 asset. So that means it's a safe investment. It's literally one of the safest things that you can own in your portfolio. So once again, all investments carry a certain level of risk, but gold is considered to be the safest thing that you can own. Most people look at the price of gold today in nominal terms, meaning they simply look at it based on the dollar price of gold. But if we were to look at gold valued in other things, i.e., if we valued gold against, again, I'll go back to the S&P, the value of the S&P priced in gold, gold is still dirt cheap. And the same holds true with the NASDAQ or the Dow. If we look at the price of gold relative to all the currency in circulation, gold is still dirt cheap. So do I think now is still a great time to buy gold? Hands down, yes.
Right now,
I'm offering my followers in the trenches this incredible one-time opportunity to credit your account up to $10,000 in free gold and silver on a qualifying purchase. That's right, this will help you get started protecting your wealth with real physical gold and silver while these historic price levels are still within reach. Go to o'keefemediagold.com, that's o'keefemediagold.com, or call 833-324-4653, 833-324-GOLD. Again, that's o'keefemediagold.com or 833-324-GOLD. Take action, get the facts, and protect your future, because freedom isn't given, it's secured. This is James O'Keefe. Don't just watch history, own a piece of it. What is your price? Because if your price is not your life, then you are for sale.